Okay, guys, episode number 47. I hope this is the least depressing and somber video out of this series that I'm shooting all at one time. This is going to be talking about chickens. And I know you guys have seen some chicken content on here before. And today I'm going to be talking about meat birds and doing some meat birds here. It is kind of going to get into some homesteading talk and why I'm doing that and why it's important to do that right now. But we're going to try to keep it positive, and we're going to try to keep it around the chicken topic. Okay, so if you want to see more chicken content, hopefully less depressing content, hopefully the world starts to become an increasingly better and more positive place. But as you and I both know, that's probably not going to happen. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this. I talk a lot about a whole bunch of different topics. This week has been a lot about the survival of the human race and Big Brother technology looking over us and all different kinds of stuff like that. But we're going to try to get away from that as things hopefully get better, maybe. The financial crisis is still looming, so we could still have a really horrible time and a depression, and maybe that'll be something interesting to talk about, but we'll see. Go ahead and subscribe, ring the notification bell, and like this video at the end if you do like it. And once again, check out the 6 previous videos from this week. This is the last one of this week that I'm shooting at one time. Go ahead and watch those because they're very interesting, I think. They may not be very exciting when it comes to your emotional well-being. They're probably going to depress you, but there's some very important topics that we need to talk about on there and why I think that our country and our world is kind of going downhill. So, chickens. Okay, so you guys have seen my chicken coop. You guys have seen my chickens. And the reason I started getting chickens to begin with is because I wanted eggs. And that was because the inflation rates were absolutely through the roof, and eggs were here in Indiana. The eggs were $4.50, even $5 a dozen at the store to get a dozen eggs. And I really love eggs. They're very simple and very easy to make. And I've been raising chickens since I was probably 6-7 years old in 4-H. I was a 10-year 4-H member in poultry. I won grand champion of the county, what they call best of show in the county fair. And I showed in them more open shows, and I was very into breeding and doing show chickens. Now I'm doing them almost exclusively for food, but eggs in this case. And I do love eggs, like I said, but as I've seen some of the prices of chickens in general and chicken meat continue to rise, and with some of the forecasts that going forward where our food supply is going to continue to tighten, and it's going to be harder and harder to get fresh meats and well-priced meats, cheap meat, I think it's going to be very important for me to have a supply of chicken or some kind of high-in-protein meat in order to feed myself and my family. Now, that being said, I have not raised meat birds before. I was not a big meat bird person. I showed show chickens, which are breeding chickens basically that are made to look good, and that's about it. And we had eggs and all that kind of stuff, which is fantastic. Meat birds are going to be new for me, and the meat birds that I know of are Cornish Crosses, which are kind of a hybrid breed that was specifically made and used in a commercial application, that are very, very high in breast meat and leg meat, but do not have a very good health outlook. They live very short lives. They do not live very well. They're very stressed out by disease and heat and cold, and they don't do very well. They're just made for meat. They're not really good just chickens, okay? Just like regular chickens that you can take care of. And I don't want to raise animals like that. So I'm going to be raising a couple of different breeds that are not Cornish Crosses. The one I'm looking at right now is called a Red Ranger from the hatchery that we use, which is, I think it's called Myers. It's either Myers or that we also use, can't even remember the name, Murphy's, I believe, is the other one. But we use a couple different hatcheries, and we have used them for quite a while. And then we started our own breeding program. We have a brooder and a incubator that we allowed ourselves to breed the next generation, not have to buy more chicks. We would just hatch out more chicks of our own. So my plan right now is well, I'm going to be building a chicken tractor. You guys have probably never heard of that, but it's basically a coop that it's made out of wood and has chicken wire on it and a roof and houses chickens in a free range situation where they would be outside on land, on grass. But you're able to move it because it's on wheels. You're able to move it from place to place, and they can have fresh grass and also distribute their droppings on your grass or your garden or wherever. They eat the bugs, and then you go on to the next space, and they are able to eat the bugs there. And it provides a much better quality of life for the chicken. They're outside instead of being caught in a coop like the ones I have now for the eggs. And the meat comes out better. So they have a better lifestyle, better meat, and easier to take care of in a lot of ways. You don't have to shovel. You don't have to shovel shavings, which I hate doing. Regardless, so I'm going to raise some Red Rangers. I might raise a couple other sub-varieties of that and get some meat. The normal slaughter weight for those birds is around, I think it's about 6 to 8 pounds. So the bird in the end, the carcass is between 4 and 6 pounds when you have it all dressed, which is a lot of chicken. My first generation, I think I'm going to make is going to be a 25 bird little flock and a chicken tractor. But I think my plan is down the road on my second generation, I think I'm going to buy a couple breeding pairs, which would be obviously females and males because there's only 2 genders. But there's going to be a couple breeding pairs, and we're going to go ahead and try to breed some of our own Red Rangers that we'll be able to put in the incubator and the brooder, and then we'll raise those up, and they will go into the next generation of meat chickens. That way we don't have to buy chicks for $3 or $4 a piece, and we can raise our own and kind of control the food supply that way. And it also helps us if we want to breed for certain characteristics, like we want a bigger breast meat on birds, we can breed with only certain types of females or males that have larger breasts. If we want to do bigger legs, if we want to do whatever, we can breed that ourselves. And it only takes about 30 days for eggs to incubate, so it doesn't take very long in order to get generations through and get those taken care of and get to the next generation of birds. So I'm going to start with 25. I need to build my chicken tractor. I'm going to use old used pallets. And I probably will make a video of that when we get them all done, or as we're doing them, to kind of show you what it's like in order to build a chicken tractor. You know, this is not going to be expensive because I think everyone is kind of pinching pennies right now, especially in the financial situation that the country is in and the world is in. But we have a ton of free wood that's sitting around of just pallet wood, and we have extra chicken wire sitting around. So we're going to build a first chicken tractor, see how that goes, put 25 birds in there. We'll probably slaughter a majority of them, if not all of them, maybe keep 1 breeding pair for the first generation, and then probably buy 25 to 50 on the next generation, which will be around midsummer. And we'll be able to get, you know, hopefully between 18 and 22 chicken carcasses that we'll be able to freeze some of them, sell some of them, and we plan on trading a couple more of them we have a whole bunch of farmers out by where we live. And we're going to trade some of the chickens for beef, and there's a pig farm right across the road. We're possibly going to be trading some chickens for that as well. So that's the plan. If you guys are not already, start looking into chickens in general if you want to control your food supply. We had some extreme food supply problems in the end of 2022, and I think it's going to get much worse in 2023, and you're going to want to be able to control your food supply. And this is one way that I'm going to be able to take care of that. So if we can raise all of our own eggs, we have a garden, and we're going to have meat birds, we can trade with our neighbors. We should be able to get almost every single food group that we want and made fresh, you know, in our county pretty easily. So I will also be making some pasta here soon out of the eggs that we're getting, which I'm really excited about that. It can't be too hard. It's like 3 ingredients. So I'm going to make some of those, and I'll put those up on our social media. Speaking of social media, if you guys want to follow me in my journey in doing that, my Instagram is David Coleman YT. The Twitter is Colma63ETH, where I talk a lot about finance, cryptocurrency, NFTs, sometimes world events. The Rumble channel that I'm using right now is David Coleman 27, and that's growing like a weed. And then if you have not already and you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to David Coleman, the channel down below, and go watch some other videos after this one. Anyway, appreciate you guys. This is the last video in the series that I'm shooting right now, and I will see you next week. See ya.